Recipe for cashew nut milk. Vegans and those who avoid dairy will find this homemade cashew milk recipe to be quite simple. The easiest plant-based milk to create just requires 4 ingredients. You'll be glad to hear that I have another ingredient to add to the batch if you enjoy homemade nut milk. There is a limited variety of nut/seed milk listed in my recipe index. Given how frequently coconut milk appears in my dishes, you folks surely already knew that coconut milk is my current favorite. Since I grew up drinking this specific nut milk, I must admit that I have a tiny bias towards it. You simply couldn't avoid it if you grew up in a Caribbean family, whether you liked it or not. It's just unheard of to add almond milk to, say, rice and peas, also known as peas and rice by Bajans. I somehow don't believe it would be complimented, so I'd pass on that one. We do prefer to use a lot of coconut milk in island meals. People are now making more conscious decisions about their diets, or they have chosen to take an active role in what they eat. Well, anyone who wants to create meals from scratch can use my website as a resource. Even while I don't profess to be a doctorate-holding nutritional expert, I can definitely share some of the lessons I've learned over the years and the techniques I use on a daily basis. I genuinely want people to love cooking, understand why having a healthy connection with food is vital, and get a deeper understanding of what they are consuming. In my opinion, nut milk is the greatest product available. To be honest, I'm astonished by the diversity of nut milk you can produce at home. I've yet to test a few, but besides coconut milk, almond and homemade cashew milk are my favorites. They have a thick, creamy texture, which is one of the reasons they are my favorite nut milk. Since giving up dairy, I haven't looked back. I alternate between different nut milk depending on my mood and what I'm cooking. Once you get into it, the process is actually pretty enjoyable. The change to a dairy-free diet. Going dairy-free could be worthwhile to try if you have the unfortunate circumstance of being lactose intolerant, unable to digest the sugars in dairy, or suffering from irritable bowel syndrome in addition to those terrible side effects. Eliminating dairy has also been reported to assist people with the autoimmune disease manage or possibly get rid of their condition. Humans frequently ingest cow's milk, which contains hormones that can irritate certain people's immune systems and lead to inflammation. Infant milk allergies are a common worry for parents, and clinicians frequently advise mothers to breastfeed or avoid dairy products to reduce the likelihood that the milk protein may be transferred from mom to baby. I strongly advise trying nut milk if any of the aforementioned conditions apply to you. If you're not used to it, start out gently by introducing some freshly prepared nut milk rather than quitting altogether. Although you can purchase cashew milk at the grocery store, making your own is much cooler and healthier. I can assure you that it is neither overly difficult nor overly simple. All you need is a powerful blender, such as Vitamix or Blendtec, some raw cashews, filtered water, if feasible, and a cheesecloth or strainer to get rid of any grit. Why should make this nut milk? Free of soy, vegan-friendly, and lactose. Cholesterol and saturated fats absent. No bad fats, only good HDL fats. 50% of the recommended daily amount of vitamin E is found in 1 cup of unsweetened cashew milk. Nourishes the skin and offers sun protection. Calcium rich with vitamins D, E, and A. Includes 15 milligrams of good fats. The actions. The cashew should be soaked for 3 hours or overnight in tepid water, not filtered water. Rinse the cashews many times in the water that has been drained from them. To the blender, add the cashews, filtered water, optional vanilla extra, and pink salt. For 1 to 2 minutes, pulse the contents at high speed. By the end of that time, all of the nuts should have completely broken down, depending on how powerful the blender is. Run the liquid through a sieve or cheesecloth to confirm that the nuts have completely dissolved. Place in a mason jar and keep chilled. How long is homemade cashew milk good for? Once prepared, it's recommended to refrigerate and keep in a sealed container. The maximum duration should be 3 to 5 days. Tips and notes. Keep the nut milk in the refrigerator at all times for optimal effects. Simply shake the milk before using it if you detect any separation because there is no emulsifier in it. Use a strainer with a finer mesh if you're using one. The cashews will break down much more smoothly if you soak them before producing milk, so make sure to do this. Make sure the cashews are not salted, roasted ones without salt can be used. Any cashew pulp that is left over can be used to make a spread or added to a smoothie. Recipe for cashew nut milk. Vegans and those who avoid dairy will find this homemade cashew milk recipe to be quite simple. The easiest plant-based milk to create just requires 4 ingredients. Ingredients: cashew nuts in a cup, 236 milliliters. 4 cups of purified water, 945 milliliters. 1 teaspoon, 4g, optional vanilla extract. 1/8 teaspoon of pink Himalayan salt, 0.75 g. Cashew nuts should be soaked in warm water. Instructions: the cashews should be soaked for 3 hours or overnight in tepid water, not filtered water. Rinse the cashews many times in the water that has been drained from them. To the blender, add the cashews, filtered water, optional vanilla extra, and pink salt. For 1 to 2 minutes, pulse the contents at high speed. By the end of that time, all of the nuts should have completely broken down, depending on how powerful the blender is. Run the liquid through a sieve or cheesecloth to confirm that the nuts have completely dissolved. Place in a mason jar and chill.